Hi, this video is for turning your lectures into videos so students can learn online. I'm using Explain Everything, but it's possible for you to do almost the same things with Panopto. I think the only thing that Panopto can't do is let you write on the screen the same as you do for a whiteboard. But this is how to set up your lectures. I understand that taking your class online quickly isn't the ideal way to do things. Fortunately, your students already know you and will give you the benefit of the doubt just for trying. OTTL also has a site for you to find information. It has many resources, and you can contact someone if you need help. We're fortunate to have Rachel Shikatano as a resource to assist you as you develop online lecture, homework, and other materials yourself. So how do you get your material online? Well, what would you do next week? Imagine you planned to lecture or test review, go over homework, and administer a test. The following week, you planned on lecturing and watching student presentations. So let's start by organizing that information so students know where they need to go and what they need to do. Best practices suggests creating folders or modules. The first one contains your syllabus and any other handouts you feel are important. The second one is for next week's work. In addition to saying the subject, it is best to state when it is due so students have a visual reminder and it's easy for you to find later. For now, start by creating the module. After you've created the items that go in there, you just link them to the folder. Rachel and OTTL have how-to videos for you on each of these items. So now you're organized. But what about getting your lecture online? The first thing to consider is trying something different. Visualize your thinking. In a face-to-face class, you provide your students with the same information as online, but a good online class looks totally different. That's because students think differently when looking at a screen versus sitting in your class and maybe taking notes. We know everyone has a short attention span, and sometimes students zone out while we're lecturing. So how do we get that information to them online? I think the key is visual. Instead of writing words that the student can read faster than we can say, let's organize our lectures so their brains lock onto our visual information. I use Explain Everything on my iPad. It is a digital whiteboard that costs just under $25, and you can find it on the App Store or on Google Play. If you don't want to spend the money, you can do all but writing on the screen with Panopto. I like Explain Everything because I can draw on the whiteboard the same way I draw in the classroom. When I do my video lectures, the students don't need to see me. I do a video announcement each week so they see my face then. And there I reference something that they did in a discussion or homework the week before, so they know I'm teaching the course with them and it isn't just canned. So they don't need to see me. You are the same way. The students know you, and they certainly know you're doing this at the same time they're taking the class. So if you don't want to be videotaped, don't worry about what you look like. But either way, you will need slides. Like many of you, I don't use canned PowerPoints. But given the short amount of time you have to prepare to take your class online, you may find that using some or all of the slides is helpful. The key here is for you to be the professor. We know there's more to teaching than sending students the PowerPoint slides, so let them hear you go over the material. This is my process. I convert my lectures to videos by imagining how a student sees a problem. In text, I explain the issue, discuss it, explain the steps to solving it, add images from the book or elsewhere, and then assign a discussion question. But as you probably read these lines before I finished summarizing them, you already saw that giving things to read is boring online. So I like icons. For us, the issue is reading online isn't just boring, it's actually hard on the eyes. So in this video, I'm talking about the steps you can take to make your lectures even more appealing online. We can easily use images from the text, so the student knows where in their own text to look for information. Then we can assign a group discussion, homework, or presentation to test how well the concept was understood. I'll use the accrual accounting concept as a simple example. First, I would discuss the concept. Then, add an image so the students relate my words to the image. I'd end my discussion of the concept with something like these questions. Now, technically, I have this on several slides, but as I record and explain everything, the slides advance and the student only sees the new words show up. After explaining the issue, I give students the steps they need to solve the problem. My personal habit is to give them steps, although I also like to explain that some people add additional steps or combine them, and that's also fine. Since my first step asks about the rule, I'd put the explanation or rule from the text right here. This is where I like to write on the board. So I might write when the painter painted the house, and I might say it was done on March 17th. So I might also say it was done and it was for $200, etc. The point is, I discuss the issues and highlights as I go through the problem. I know this looks like chicken scratch, and that's because I don't write very well. I'm also not using a very good stylus. I have a better stylus, but I wanted to show you that sometimes it's just okay to use your average stylus and just use what you have to get the information across to students. Sometimes I use just text because my handwriting isn't very good. But even if you don't have explain everything, you could easily add text and highlight the same information. Once you complete your slides, you start your videotaping. I make my slides into PDFs because some of the accounting tables do not adjust well as the size of the student's device change from phones to iPads to PCs, etc. So for me, saving my PowerPoint as a PDF has proven to be helpful. There is a video on how to use Panopto, so I'm just mentioning that you can videotape yourself and/or your slides, as well as edit your video. For Explain Everything, you add your slides to the app and you record each slide separately. The nice thing is that you edit each slide separately, so you can add extra slides or delete them if you don't want them later. From there, you export the video. You can export it directly into YouTube, but I like to export it into my Google Drive and then upload it to YouTube where you can add closed captioning. I can also save it as an MP3 player and use it in D2L. After you complete your lectures, you can create the other assignments that the students need to have. I tend to do presentations, as do many of you. My students videotape their presentations even though they're in different locations. I tell them I don't mind if the background changes, but I do want them to dress in business casual and videotape themselves and their slides. These instructions are very helpful, as students will simply voice over their PowerPoint if you don't tell them otherwise. Finally, you can create your assignments. Your assignments can be discussion questions, other videos, traditional assignment questions. I've also used the free site Flipgrid. There, you can ask students questions and they will give you a video response. It's a free site and students tend to find it fun. But I'm sure there's something you can find that you will enjoy and your students will enjoy. Whatever you do, link it to your folder or module when you're finished. I made this video since there wasn't one on Explain Everything, and it is one of the apps I use the most. But please use the resources that are available and ask for help. Let us know what questions you have.